Topic students, we have reciprocal promises, section 51 to 54 and 57. These are a very important provision, that is why I am carrying out these topics alone, rest of the sections to normal cases. No need to discuss much in detail about that. Provision, first provision of reciprocal promises is that promises are not bound to perform unless promisee ready and willing to perform. So here what happens is, the performance of the obligation mostly lies on the promisee side, where there is a contract between the promisor and the promisee. But promisee has to do the first set of promises. Based on that, promisor will carry out this promise. For example, if promisee agrees to deliver 15,000 worth of bags of wheat to promisor on 2nd day of January 2020, unless he delivers 50,000 bags of wheat or rice as agreed in the contract to A is not bound to pay the price, because the contract states delivery first, payment next. If it is like that, delivery has to come first, payment has to go next. There are also contracts which states that payment will be made in advance. Based on that, once it is done, delivery will happen. So there are orders specified, and based on that order, promises will be carried out as per the T and C. T and C means terms and conditions of the contract. So here, promisor need not perform the contract. As I said in the illustration which I have given, B, unless he delivers 50,000 bags of rice on 2nd January 2020 on a particular day, A is not bound to perform the promise of making the payment. Therefore, promises are not bound to perform unless promisee ready and willing to perform. This is the first point of reciprocal promise section. Second, order of performance. As I said, in every reciprocal promises, there is an order fixed, sequential order of carrying out the transaction. So for example, if I say sequence 1 has to come, sequence 2 has to come. You may be popular with algorithm and flow charts in the computer data sciences subject wherever you are studying, right? There is a flow chart that happens start, then it carries out the transaction, and at the end will have stop. So there is a sequence of activities which starts, and we have to do the process, and there comes the output. So the order and the logical way of execution carrying out the transaction decides the manner. So order of sequential way of carrying out the transaction, order of performance of the transaction is very, very important. So if it is specified in the contract, follow the order specified. As I said, there are contracts where we say delivery first, payment next. So order is first delivery, second is payment, right? There are also contracts where advance first, inspection second, delivery third. There will be stages. So you need to follow that stage. If there is a stage specified in the contract, order specified in the contract, sequence specified in the contract, follow the stage, sequence, order specified in the contract. If there is not anything specified in the contract, carry out according to the nature of the transaction. This is what the law states. You need to carry out the transactions, you need to carry out the sequences as per the nature of the transaction. If there is no need of, there is no mention of the sequence, stage or order of the transaction, carry out according to the nature of the transaction. This is the law prescribed procedure. Best example is A and B, the building contractor and the customer. They contract into their building contract, where the contractor A says that he will build the house to B at a fixed price. There is a house building construction contract, where construction contractor A will agree with the customer B that he is going to construct and build a house, nice house for B at a fixed price. Now, A's promise to build the house must be fulfilled before B is promised to pay A, because the first sequence of the promise is construction first, payment next. Because he is constructing the house at his own willing and risk that A is going to build the house for B. Therefore, building the house, construction comes first, and then at a fixed price, which is payment, comes next. Therefore, it is now A's obligation to fulfill the construction of the house first, and then B will pay the payment to A, because promise to pay comes second, construction comes first. You need to carry out in the order, right? Section 57. Reciprocal promises to do things legal, other things illegal. The third important provision of reciprocal promises is where there are a set of promises where the 2 or 3 promises are made under the contract. One set of promises is legal, other set of promises is illegal. Okay. The illegal promise is invalid, the legal promise is valid, where it is possible to segregate, where it is possible to separate illegal part from the legal part. Legal is valid, illegal is invalid or void. So that is what the last stage. Reciprocal promises, as you know, it is a promise for a promise. I make a promise, other party makes a promise. Both of them reciprocate promises, both of them exchange promises. But where I make a promise which is legal, he makes a promise which is illegal. Therefore, the transaction is consisting of legal set as well as illegal set. So, illegal set is invalid and legal set is valid. So, these are the important provisions which you need to understand from the legal reciprocal promises perspective. Students, we go to the next topic, appropriation of payments, section 59 to 61. What is meant by appropriation of payments? When you say appropriation of payments, this particular topic is applicable again for a money lending, borrowing or a kind of a transaction. For example, if A and B, they enter into a money lending transaction. A is the money lender, B is the customer. A is going to give an amount of 1 lakh rupees into 5 parts. Please understand, into 5 parts. 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000 and final 20,000. 5 20,000s. Total 1 lakh. To B, who is the borrower. Okay. Now, what the last is? The due date comes. Mr. B, who is the customer, he has 15,000 amount in his hand. Another 5,000 he makes up somewhere, makes an amount of 20,000. He approaches the creditor. Okay. What he has to do is, as per rule number 59, against 1 lakh borrowed money by B, he is now started repaying, but he has now 20,000 in his hand right now. Balance 80,000 is unpaid. Let's leave it. First 20,000 is unpaid. He has to intimate to the creditor which installment of 20,000 he is making. There are 5 installments, right? As I said, 1 lakh, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, 5 installments of 20,000 each, but he is now having only 120,000 to repay. Out of the 5 installments, he can repay anything, but debtor has to specify to the creditor which installment number he is going to repay this 20,000. If he says, then creditor, what is the rule that says is, creditor has to apply the payment as per the direction of the debtor. Whatever debtor says, whatever B says, A has to apply to the debt only. He should not apply the payment to any other debt, any other installment. If he says installment number 120,000 is making payment, B says A has to apply, receive the payment and apply to installment number 1. He should not do it to installment number 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Whatever B says, he has to obey and he has to apply the payment to the respective installment number or the date number due. Second part of it. Section 60. We have said debtor does not intimate to the creditor. He is having 20,000, due to urgency, comes there, meets the creditor, gives 20,000, walks away out of the place. But debtor doesn't specify which installment number we need to apply the payment. As I said, what does the rule say? Creditor can apply the payment to any of the lawful debt. Among the 5 installments, he can apply to any of the installment number as per creditor's wish. Because all the 5 are legally due from B. Whatever money received from B, now creditor can receive the payment and he can apply to any of the lawful sum due. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 5, 1, 2, anything he can apply, but he has 20,000 in his hands, he can apply to any one of them. Third, section 61, where neither debtor says nor creditor does anything, what happens? This is the third, is a little complicated, where debtor also doesn't say anything, creditor also doesn't do anything. He meets the creditor, he gives 20,000, walks away. Creditor also keeps simply 20,000 in his hand, he doesn't know what to do. In that case, what happens is, last dates, you have to apply in the order of time. We say aging. Whatever is the oldest debt due, you can receive the payment from B, apply that payment to the oldest debt. The rest are all recent ones. That is okay. Receive the payment and apply that to the oldest debt. This is all the rules which are specified by the case English Court of Law, in particular specified case called Clayton case, popularly known as Devani's versus Noble. Thanks. Students, we will discuss about the next topic, discharge of contract. Discharge of contract, as you say, it is basically putting an end to the contractual relationship between parties. For example, if A agrees to deliver his car of 1 lakh rupees to B, B is now accepting the car from A and is paying the price of 1 lakh to A. What happens? A is supposed to deliver his car, which A has delivered. B is supposed to pay the price, B has already paid. Car is also delivered. B takes away the car, A takes away the money. So, the transaction is over? Yes, transaction is over because it is said to be discharged by mutual performance obligation on both the parties. From A side he has delivered the car, from B side he has paid the price. Therefore, both the parties have performed their obligation. Therefore, the contract is said to be discharged, or contract is said to be terminated, or the relationship between the parties have come to an end because contract is concluded. So, the law states how the contract can conclude as per the provisions of Indian Contract Act 1872. There are various modes in which the contract can be concluded. One is by performance. Second is by impossibility of performance. Third is agreement. Fourth is lapse of time. Fifth is breach of contract. Sixth is operation of law. There are 6 modes in which contract can be discharged or concluded or put to an end. Rather, put to an end. By performance. When you say by performance, the typical example which I just now told, the car delivered and payment of the price happening, it is actual performance of the obligation by both the parties. So, contract is discharged by mutual obligation, mutual performance obligation. This is called actual performance. Actual means fact. Fact has happened, the transaction has happened, the contract is said to be discharged by actual performance. Attempted performance or tender. A is now ready to perform. Promisor is now ready to perform. Whereas B, the promisee or the acceptor is not willing to accept, not ready to perform his side of obligation. So, it is rather attempted performance because A is attempting to perform. B is not willing to accept. That is not A's problem. So, it is attempted performance or tender. So, there are 2 categories by which contract is said to be discharged. Therefore, in attempted performance, since promisor is willing to perform, promisee not willing to accept, still contract is said to be discharged by attempted performance because still promisor is attempting to perform. It is only the problem on the part of the promisee not to accept. Therefore, promisor is discharged from further obligations under the contract. He need not further oblige to perform the obligation. His performance obligation is terminated. He need not further carry out the contract. Contract is said to be discharged. So, performance, actual performance, attempted performance. Next is impossibility of performance. When you say impossibility of performance, as I said, impossibilium nulla obligato est is the Latin term, which means that what is impossible, law does not recognize. No cause of action arises out of illegal, no cause of action arises out of impossible act. Rather say impossible act, no cause of action arises. Impossibilium nulla obligato est. So, impossibility means A and B enters into a contract where A says that I will bring a life into B's dead wife. It is totally not possible because B's wife is already dead. You cannot bring the life into dead body. So, A says that I am going to bring a magician, I am going to bring a life into B's dead body. B's wife's dead body is totally not possible because bringing back a life of a person who is dead is not a legally recognized or legally possible one, physically even not possible one. Therefore, it is not possible. Therefore, contract is said to be discharged by impossibility of performance. What is impossible? Law cannot enforce. Therefore, impossibility of performance is one of the grounds where contract can be discharged. Agreement. Agreement means by entering into an agreement between the parties, parties are further restricted their obligation and they say, yes, fine, I am okay. Whatever is the obligation that has been rendered till now, we will pay, or the contract is said to be discharged upon the completion of so and so event or within specified time or so and so, we will put an end to the contract. So, it is up to the interest of the parties up to the intention of the parties, up to the willingness of the parties who enter into an agreement between them and they try to close the contract or put an end to the contractual obligation. There are three ways in which the contract is discharged by agreement: novation, rescission, remission, waiver. Rather four: novation, remission, rescission, waiver. There are four things. When you come to novation, what is meant by novation? Novation means substituting a new contract in the place of old contract. As a result of which old contract will be discharged, new contract will come into place. For example, A is getting the money of 1 lakh rupees as a borrowable amount from B, who is a money lender. Okay, A is getting a borrowed amount of 1 lakh from B, who is a money lender. But what happens is A could not repay 1 lakh to B. Now A is trying to mortgage his property in favor of B, so that B can sell off the property and take away the money. Now you need to understand, parties are A and B only. There is no change in parties. A is the borrower and B is the money lender, right? In both the transactions. Now what happens? A is not able to repay the 1 lakh which he has borrowed from B. As a result of which, what happens? A is trying to mortgage or pledge his property in favor of B. Now, the money lending initial transaction, borrowing transaction between A and B has now substituted with a mortgage contract, because the earlier money lending, money repayment contract is now substituted by mortgage contract, where assets of A are now pledged in favor of B. Now, the effect is the old repayment of money contract is now substituted by the mortgage contract, thereby further A is not obliged to pay any amount to B, rather A's assets will play as a security to B, and which B can pledge off or sell off or get the money recovered and use it for repayment of the debt. So, the earlier money repayment contract is now maturing into the mortgage contract or substituted by the mortgage contract, so that money repayment contract is closed, mortgage contract comes into existence. This is called novation. You are substituting a new contract in the place of old contract. The net effect or result is that old contract is discharged, new contract comes into force. Rescission. Rescission means contractual obligation. You are trying to put an end by means of rescission. Rescission means you are excusing him from not performing the contract. One party is supposed to perform, but by rescission you are saying that no, you need to perform, need not to perform. You are cancelling the obligation, so that that person need not perform the contract. So you are supposed to pay an amount of rupees 10 lakhs to B, but B says that no, you do not have to pay, or you have to pay only a small amount. That is okay. So in that case, it is a case of a remission, because in this case B is saying 10 lakhs, A is getting 10 lakhs from B, but B is saying you need not have to pay 10 lakhs, rather pay 5 lakhs. I am okay. So B itself is the money lender who is lent 10 lakhs, but he says that no, it is enough if you pay 5 lakhs instead of 10 lakhs. So there is a reduced performance obligation. Earlier money borrowed was 10 lakhs, but A is now supposed to pay only 5 lakhs, because money lender is okay for 5 lakhs to get paid. In that case, you are reducing your performance obligation, or initially agreed promise now stands reduced. So in that case, it is called remission. Waiver. Waiver means cancelling off or putting an end by settling of the transaction, putting an end to the transaction. So to be waiver. Or you are closing out the performance obligation. It's called waiver. Novation, revision, rescission and waiver are the various modes in which your agreement-based contract is terminated. Then comes breach of contract. What is meant by breach of contract? Contract said to be breached. Breached means you are violating the terms and conditions of the contract. The contract is said to be breached means you are violating the terms and conditions of the contract. Breach is classified into actual breach and anticipatory breach. What is actual breach? What is anticipatory breach? We say actual breach, you are cancelling the contract. First you need to understand what is actual breach, second is anticipatory breach. Actual breach and anticipatory breach. When you say actual breach and anticipatory, actual breach is where A enters into a contract with B for sale of a house property. Okay, A is going to sell the house property worth 1 lakh to B. Please understand, house property is worth 1 lakh. A is going to sell his house property worth 1 lakh to B. But you need to understand, on 1st January is the due date on which A is supposed to sell the property to B. 1st January, A is supposed to sell the property to B. But what happens is, on 1st January, the contract is cancelled by A or B, either of the parties. On 1st January, the contract is cancelled, which means that there is no need for further performance obligation on both the parties because contract is cancelled on the due date of 1st January. You are cancelling on the day when the performance is due. Please understand, your performance of selling the property is due on 1st January. That is the due date on which you are supposed to sell. But on 1st January, exactly on the date, you are cancelling the contract. That is said to be actual breach. You are cancelling on the day, on the time performance is due. It is called actual breach of contract. Anticipatory breach of contract. 1st January, your performance is due. You know, because of unforeseen circumstances or any other reasons, your contract cannot be performed or is totally impossible to perform. You are unable to perform, etc., etc. In that case, you are anticipating this impossibility or this constraint or difficulty and you are cancelling the contract on 25th December instead of 1st January. You are anticipating there is an impossibility before and you are cancelling before the due date of 1st January, maybe around 25th December. This is called anticipatory breach of contract. So you have to understand the difference between actual and anticipatory breach of contract. Actual breach of contract is where on the due date when the performance is due, you are cancelling the contract. It is called actual breach of contract. So when you are cancelling the contract on the exact day when the performance is due, in that case, you need to pay the compensation because you being the victim. Either party, whoever is cancelling, the other party becomes a victim because on the promise of whom the other party has moved his position. He has been in a detriment, he has been in a liability because the other party has made a promise, the former party has changed into a liability or has changed his position to difficulty. Therefore, the actual contract, actual breach is where you are trying to breach the contract. As a result, you are putting the other party into problem. As a result of which you need to compensate the other party because of the difficulty or because of the failure of your promise to perform. The other party is now put into difficulty. You need to compensate the other party. So this is the principle of natural and social justice. So actual breach of contract. Anticipatory breach of contract. In this case, you are not even paid the price, but you can still claim damages because your performance is due on 1st January. Why are you cancelling before? So the other party will have all sorts of questions to ask you. You need to be ready to answer that, and you will also be liable to pay damages because you are cancelling the contract in advance. Therefore, you need to pay damages. Here, party can claim price and damages in actual breach, whereas anticipatory, he can claim damages alone. Lapse of time. Lapse of time is another category where between parties, they agree upon a specified time. For example, if I agree to deliver my property within 4 months or 5 months, you need to deliver within 4 or 5 months. If you don't deliver the property within 4 or 5 months, your contract is set to expire because contract term agreed is 4 months or 5 months. Within 5 months you need to deliver. If you don't deliver, your contract is expired. Your contract is going to expire or put an end because time has lapsed. Time has come to an end. Time is the essence of contract. Where time is specified, time is the essence of contract. Where time is not specified, you need to carry out the obligation within reasonable time. If the time is specified, carry out within the time specified. If time is not specified, carry out within reasonable time. Either of these cases, if you are not able to carry out the contract within time, reasonable time, contract will be put to an end. The obligation will come to an end. It is called lapse of time. Okay? Operation of law. Operation of law is the last category where we say a contract will be put to an end due to reasons beyond the control of the parties. There may be act of God. We also known as act of God. Something which is outside our control. Flood, famine, earthquake, or this kind of disease situation like COVID, etc. These are situations which are beyond our control. Due to act of God, there are circumstances which put the parties to obviously cancel the contract or put an end to the contract. The best example is COVID situation right now which is happening, the coronavirus situation, where there may be contract between buyer and seller already agreed, but they are not able to perform the contract, not able to deliver the rice packs, not able to pay the price, etc. because of the disease. situation right now in India. Because the best example, something, the disease that has come into India which is outside our control. No party can control the disease because there is no vaccine, there is no medicine. So in that case, this is totally outside the control of the parties, act of God situation. So in this case, it is operation of law. Again, operation of law, death of the parties is one of the case, merger, where one party, one situation merges with another situation. Right now, you may be residing in a house. Later, you will become the owner of the house. Right now, you may be tenant of the house. So, the tenancy merges into ownership. Right? That is called merger situation. Insolvency situation, where you are not having any money, you don't have asset, property, etc. You cannot carry out the transaction. You have to put an end to the transaction. So, because of insolvency, your contract will be terminated. Unauthorized alteration of terms and conditions. Popular example is checks, promissory notes, those negotiable instruments where you are trying to alter the terms and conditions of the contract, material elements to the contract, important points in the contract, important contents in the contract, you are trying to alter. But please remember, whatever you are altering on your own. You are not altering without the consent of the other party. Please understand, you are altering but without the consent of the other party. As a result of which, other party will suffer a loss because both the party has committed into the contract. One of the party on his own alters the terms and conditions of the contract without the consent, without permission, without informing the other party. So the other party, because of this alteration, will suffer a loss. So other party will be bound to be compensated by the former party. So unauthorized alteration of terms and condition, death, disease situation like COVID, merger, insolvency are examples of operations of law. So these are the various cases in which contract is said to be discharged. Students, we are coming to the fag end of the session, law of contract. The syllabus is going to be completed. Last topic, breach of contract and remedies for breach of contract. So hope till now you are able to understand the various topics. This is going to be the final topic on your syllabus. Law of contract alone is going to be completed with this. Remedies for breach of contract, the last topic. Let's go. Rescission. What are the various modes in which the contract can be discharged? We discussed some time before the various actual breach, anticipatory breach and all. One of the modes of discharge of contract is breach of contract, where you violate the terms and conditions of the contract, as a result of which you suffer the damages. So what are the various modes of breach of contract? One is actual breach and anticipatory breach, as he said. Actual breach is on the date, the due date that performance is fixed for the contract is due for performance, you are cancelling the contract. On the due date of performance, you are cancelling the contract is called actual breach. Anticipatory is before the due date fixed for the contract, you are cancelling the contract. It is said to be anticipatory breach of contract. So, you need to understand, because of the breach of contract, what happens? When you breach a contract, the other party now becomes a sufferer. He is the victim. He is the aggrieved party. He is the injured party. We call it as different terms. I am the party who is supposed to perform the obligation. Suppose you are the other party who is on the other side of the contract. When I don't deliver, what will happen? You are based on my performance. You are suppose for example, I am going to deliver you 1000 bags of rice. You are dependent upon me because you are a dealer. You are dealing with me, rice dealer. You are dealing with me for 1000 bags. You are expecting 1000 bags from me on tomorrow morning. Okay, but tomorrow morning, if I don't deliver, what will happen? You may have your own set of customers who may be depending upon you for bags of rice, which you depend upon me. If I fail, you fail. You fail in your promise to other customers. So you will be put into problem. Other customers will question you. You are supposed to deliver the bags of rice, but you are not delivered because you are dependent upon me because I have not delivered. So because of my failure, you are the sufferer. So you need to be paid compensation by me. So not only compensation, that is called the remedy. There are various remedies which are prescribed under the contract as remedies for breach of contract. Remedies wherever parties violate the terms and conditions of the contract, the following are the remedies which are available. One is rescission of the contract or setting aside the contract or cancelling the contract. Second is damages. Third is quantum meruit. Fourth is specific performance. Fifth is injunction. Rescission of the contract or remission of the contract, rescission of the contract or cancellation, setting aside, anything we can say. Rescission means when I don't deliver, you are also not supposed to further do anything because your performance is dependent upon my performance. Where I am not delivering, you are not supposed to do anything. There is no fault on your part, it is a fault on my part. Therefore, you are need not be further, you are excused from further performance and you need not have to do anything. It is a problem on me. Because of my problem, you are a sufferer. Therefore, you can ask me to set aside the contract. You can set aside the contract. You can put a cancellation of the contract. You can move away out of the contract. So this is called rescission of the contract or setting aside the contract. So you need not further perform. Rather, you can ask me to cancel the contract and state that you are not willing to do any contract with me, and you can cancel the contract because the failure to perform the obligation is a big fault on me, so you are not responsible. Therefore, you can put a existing contract termination. Second is damages. Damages means monetary compensation. You can just like that say cancel the contract. That is one remedy. Second remedy is you promised to pay me, you promised to deliver me, but you have not delivered. So what can I do? I can put a compensation on you, claim a suit by filing a case against you and get a compensation for not performing, not following your promise. You are failed in your promise. Now you give me compensation because I am sufferer. I suffered a loss because of your promise. So you need to compensate me for the loss. That is what is damages. Damages, it is monetary compensation that is awarded by the court based on the suits and the cases filed by the parties in the court. Court will decide what kind of damages need to be awarded, what kind of monetary compensation to be awarded, decided by the court based on reading the facts and circumstances of the case, hearing both the parties in the contract. Court will decide what is the damage that need to be paid. There are various damages which are available. Ordinary damage, which is to be ordinarily paid as per the terms and conditions of the contract. Specific damages, the specific monetary compensation that will be paid as per the principle, the nature of the transaction that is being involved, and depending upon the volume of the loss that is suffered, you have a specific compensation or a special compensation. So ordinary, special are the two categories. Again, apart from that, there is vindictive. Vindictive means punishment imposed damages. Damages in the form of punishment. For example, if you fail, only two cases vindictive damages can be awarded. What are the two cases? One is banker failure to dishonor a check wrongly. There is a check which has been dishonored by the banker wrongly. He is not supposed to dishonor, but he has dishonored it wrongly. It is banker's fault, it is not customer's fault. That is point number one. Second case is a man promises to marry a woman, but he fails to marry that woman. Breach of promise to marry. So these are the two cases: banker failure to dishonor a check wrongly, breach of promise to marry. These are the two cases where vindictive damages can be awarded. In other cases, damages cannot be in the nature of punitive or vindictive damages. These are the three main important categories of damages: ordinary, special and vindictive, as I said. Next is quantum meruit. What is meant by quantum meruit? Quantum meruit means as much as earned or as much as work performed. Let us say, for example, if A is the building contractor, B is the customer. A building contractor agreed to construct the building to A, to construct the building to B, the customer. But what happens is, after constructing first floor, second floor, suddenly building contractor stops the construction. So B, the customer, says that why are you stopping the construction? You are supposed to construct a building. But builder says thousands of reasons. Okay, let me come to the compromise. Customer will say, whatever that you perform, whatever you do, I will pay you. Better stop the work. I am going to move to the next building contractor. You need not be my building contractor forever. So whatever is the work that is done, for that the building contractor needs to be compensated. Even though there is a breach, but still the work is done. So whatever is the work done till that date, till that moment, the parties agree to compensate the other party for the work done till date. That is called whatever earned, whatever has merited, whatever has performed, to the extent compensation is paid. That is called quantum meruit. Specific performance. A and B agree to enter into the contract where A agrees to deliver certain bags of rice to B, but he doesn't deliver the bags of rice to B on a particular date. What happens is B can insist A to deliver the contract, deliver the rice as per the terms and conditions of the contract, insisting to perform. That is called specific performance. You are specifically insisting, informing him to perform the contract. That is called specific performance. Last one is injunction. Injunction means order issued by the court of law preventing a person from doing wrongful thing. Preventing a person from doing wrongful thing, or preventing a person from doing an act which is not agreed, or agreed but wrongfully done. Either of these cases. Best example is Lumley versus Wagner. That's a popular case law. What happened is Lumley was a singer. He agreed with Wagner, a particular producer, that he will sing only in that producer films. He will not sing in any other producer films. What happened is, due to desire for money, Lumley agreed with other producer also and obtained advance. What happened is, Wagner, the producer, first producer, came to know about this and he filed a case against Lumley. Court issued an order against Lumley and said that you first agreed with this Wagner that you will not sing it for any other producer. Now you are violating the first promise and you are taking advance with the second producer. How can you do so? Court issued an order restraining Lumley to return back the advance to the second producer, continue the agreement with the first producer, complete the songs and finish the contract. This is the popular case law, Lumley versus Wagner. So it is another important case law that's a part of injunction. So these are the 5 important remedies. Students, again let me come through these 5 points. Rescission of the contract or cancelling, putting an end to the contract, setting aside the contract, parties if they wish, based on the breach of the contract, volume or the size of the loss that is suffered. The former party can set aside the contract, or the aggrieved party, rather aggrieved party or injured party can set aside the contract or put an end to the contract. Damages, as I said, monetary compensation or money value for the loss that is suffered, that can be awarded by the court based on hearing the parties to the case, understanding the circumstances. Court will issue the damages. Ordinary, special, vindictive, punitive are some of the categories of damages as we discussed. Quantum meruit. Quantum meruit means as much as earned, as much as merited, based on work whatever done. The later party has to compensate the former party for the work done till date. There is no further need to perform the work. Whatever done work, you need to pay compensation. Specific performance means former party will be compelled by the other party to carry out and perform the obligation as per the terms and conditions of the contract. So whenever there is a breach of contract involved, the later party can compel the former party to specifically carry out and finish the performance obligation as per the terms and conditions of the contract. Last is injunction. Injunction means putting an end to the contract, whereby court issues an order restricting, preventing a person from doing wrongful thing or negative thing or thing not agreed upon, to prevent him from doing a thing not agreed upon. Best example is Lumley versus Wagner, this case law. Thank you students for giving me an opportunity to do a contract law. Thank you. This syllabus is completed for contracts. Thank you.